Good afternoon, everyone. I am Dr. Savitri Datta, Coordinator, Internal Quality Assurance Cell, Damdam Motijil Rabindra Mahavidyalaya. First, I convey my warm greetings on behalf of our college to all present over here. We have with us our principal sir and all honorable IQAC members and participants, not only from West Bengal, but from other states, Odisha, Assam, Punjab, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Rajasthan, Uttarakhand, and many other parts of India, and from outside India as well. We are very happy to have these overwhelming responses. The gracious presence of all present here is the main motivation for us organizing this program. The COVID-19 global health pandemic is rapidly changing the ways we live, we work, and we communicate. In the age of sustainable development, and at a time when the world is working towards achieving the sustainable development goals, this disease is complicating sustainable development goal implementation efforts, as well as posing a real risk to achieving targets on communicable diseases, education, life expectancy, and the work environment. Keeping in mind the present scenario of the pandemic, the academicians all over the world have been organizing several web seminars to develop an awareness and keep innovation running within the academic world. In this regard, Damdam Motijil Rabindra Mahavidyalaya cordially invites you in this webinar. In the current situation of global pandemic and worldwide panic surrounding it, people are becoming more concerned than they were ever before about their own health and the health of their near ones. And health is becoming a priority nowadays, and the consumer preference for health insurance is likely to take a new shape. This webinar unfolds different aspects of health insurance in the post-COVID days and the form it has taken in the new pandemic situation. To ensure the preparedness to prevent and contain the spread of COVID-19, strengthening health infrastructure is imperative to prevent outbreaks and to ensure the safety of healthcare workers and patients. Effective health insurance coverage is key to combating COVID-19, enabling access to and payment for both testing and treatment. Health insurer, health providers, employers, and consumers all will face these challenges as they work to address the fallout from COVID-19 outbreak. Healthcare stakeholders will have to manage a rising tide of emerging developments and new regulations in the coming days, weeks, months, and possibly years. The possible questions are: what are the most pressing issues in the, that is lying ahead, and what are the new what is a new paradigm in the insurance of health? We all will be exploring these questions with our honorable speaker today, who will take us through this journey of new wisdom. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce our speaker today, Mr. Dhiman Pal. Mr. Pal is an MA, Diploma in Software Management, Fellow of Insurance Institute of India, and Master in Business Administration. He has joined the insurance industry in 1996 on specialized cadre. Currently, he is Divisional Manager, Kolkata Divisional Office 2, New India Assurance Company Limited. He has been serving as regular management faculty at Kolkata Zonal Training Center since 2000. He is a team member for health insurance product development, launching, and implementation. Mr. Pal is a member of the team for software development and user accepted test with TCS, our pan-India software vendor. And he is member of risk management team, business process re-engineering. He is member of preferred provider network committee, third-party administrator, administrative committee. Mr. Pal is nodal officer for Rashtriya Shastha Bima Yojana in West Bengal. He represents New India at various forums like BCCI, ASSOCHAM, etc. in health line of business. He is a member of Fraud Control Cell, Kolkata region. He is a member of Task Force for COVID-19, Kolkata region. He is also a member of Task Force for Amphan, Kolkata region. We are eagerly waiting to listen to and getting enriched and enlightened from Mr. Pal. Over to Mr. Pal. So we can't hear you.
Now I think AV is clear, right? Now I think I'm audible to everyone.
Yeah, you are audible now, yeah.
So thanks a lot first to Madam Dr. Radha, because she had been in constant touch with me all through before this webinar was planned to. But before we go for any deliberation, etc., I must extend my gratitude to the respected principal sir of Damdam Motijil Ravindra Mahavidyalaya and the governing body members, then of course the members of the organizing committee, those who have already taken the pain to make it happen today, in fact, and the teaching staff, non-teaching staff, all the delegates, and all the participants today we have in the own corners of the desktop. So very good afternoon to all of you, and of course, I wish that everyone present in the forum, in the webinar, as well as their family members, they are keeping well. They are living in a very happy state, even though tremendous pandemic situations is all around surrounded with us. Friends, it's my pleasure that, of course, it is my pleasure and I'm happy to be a part of this webinar, and especially the topic. Today's topic is post-COVID era or situation as far as this health insurance is concerned. And when we talk about health insurance, obviously so many things comes together. It's not health insurance. It cannot, and it's like a vehicle. We cannot take health insurance as a vehicle unless we do have a steering in the hand, we do have wheels on the vehicle, we do have a seat on the vehicle to sit on, etc., etc. So when we talk about health insurance, we have to consider so many things, so many aspects. Those who are directly, indirectly, relatively, or apparently, every way, those who are things are, I mean, related to this health insurance. When we talk about the future, I of course like to focus on the present. It's not me only. I believe everybody in the forum, everybody will agree to my notion, my understanding that whenever we talk about future, we have to think about the present, because this present always builds the future. And when we talk about present, then we have to talk about past also. And when we talk about insurance, when we talk about any that pandemic situations, when we are in a position, in a situations rather, to decide to work on to build up our infrastructure, we have to have a robust data arrangements, data system, which can be I mean analyzed to take a proper decisions to fight that situations. And for that, obviously, we have to start from the beginning itself. What we do is, what I was planning to, let us not take it as a lecture sort of, because during this pandemic situation, since last 70 days, we all are confined at home. We are working from home. We are trying to manage our professional career from the desktop, laptop, etc., etc. So we have worked a lot from home. I mean, with the desktop, we have done so many things. So I was thinking to have a clear deliberations with you, where I want to discuss some areas, where I want to focus on some areas where we can, we can have a clear understanding on what is happening and what is to be done, and what would be our contributions as an individual in the society, what would be the contributions as a part of any organizations, what would be the contributions of the society, etc., etc. So I'm not thinking of all this. I'm not going to give you any presentations. Neither I'm carrying any presentations. But my request is I'll be just deliberating for few minutes. It may be 40-45 minutes, and I will request everybody to listen to it. And if someone is having any query and questions, of course, we'll be open to accept it. We will be open to listen to this also, discuss on these issues. But after this 40-45 minutes, we will be having one open sessions, and where each and every questions may be asked, and each and every questions may be taken up, discussed and addressed properly. And I will of course request Dr. Datta to drive us throughout that 1 hour or 40-45 minutes, drive us uh, as per the schedules, so that we do not miss out the schedule. Friends, so when we talk about insurance, especially health insurance, I remember one dialogue by our Big B, that roti kapra or makan. That was a famous dialogue by our Big B in a particular film. I cannot name the film. Roti kapra or makan. Roti kapra or makan are the basic or the integral part of our life. I mean, these all are the basic needs uh, 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 we are to have. I mean, have to live our life. And this dialogue was somewhere 80s, in the year 1980s. But nowadays, with advancement of so many things, with modernizations of life, modernizations of society, changing in this lifestyle, etc., etc. One thing I add to this: roti, kapra, makan, and health insurance. That is what I say, what I feel, what we say rather. And everybody in the society nowadays, we are thinking in that line also. And especially when this challenges, like whatever we are facing nowadays, last 65 days, or rather 70 days, the pandemic situations, when this sort of outbreak comes, it creates much more this thing, your awareness to all of us, and we give a second thought that we must have uh, uh, a precaution. We must have a security system in place which will help us to fight all this, as far as financial terms are concerned, as far as social terms are concerned. Friends, as I was telling, that when we talk about present, we have to talk about the past also. And if we start from the beginning itself, it was 1986 when all the public sector insurance companies like New India Assurance Company Limited, National Insurance, then Oriental and United India, as you must be aware of. There had been the subsidiary companies under the governing body of General Insurance Corporations of India. 1986, all the public sector insurance companies, we devised one health insurance coverage on the retail level for the general populations of our country, to give them a protections against medical expenses incurred in hospital, nursing home, daycare centers, as well as medical expenses incurred at domicile places. So 1986, all four PSU companies, I mean, there had been only PSU companies, four PSU companies devised one single product with a single pricing, with a single coverage, with a single terms and conditions, with uniform. I mean, what I wanted to mean, that one uniform health insurance product was introduced in the year 1986 to give a general health insurance coverage in a mass scale on the retail line. And there, it was not only medical expenses incurred at hospital, but some of the medical expenses incurred at the residence also, that is domicile expenses, that were also covered under this policy. But what has happened is, there had been tremendous changes in the insurance industry we are seeing since last rather 10 to 15 years. Especially the earmark year in insurance industry was 2000. 2000. Why I tell you, 20,000 is a year when the insurance industry was thrown open to the private players. It was not only public sector companies, I mean government insurance companies, but this industry was thrown open to the private insurance players also. And for that, two things happened. One is abolition of General Insurance Corporations of India, under which all the four public sector insurance companies had been the sister or subsidiary companies. General Insurance Companies Corporation was given a specific role to deal with the reinsurance arrangements. Today, we will not discuss on reinsurance arrangements. It's a separate aspect. But General Insurance Corporations was that way abolished, given autonomy. And all the four public sector insurance companies were also given autonomy. And IRDA was that Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority, that is IRDA. IRDA was introduced as a regulator to regulate all the insurance companies, including public sectors as well as private sectors. I know things are bit boring for all of you, but why I wanted to touch up all these areas, because if we understand what is going to be the situations, then we have to understand what is the trail behind it, what has already was there in place, and what was the changing scenario, and what we are going to achieve by this. So when public sectors as well as private sectors came into being, the market was open. So it was not a situation like that only one product with a uniformity of scope of coverage, uniformity of claim settlement, uniformity of premium, etc., could be afforded. So every private companies, they came with their different insurance products. Where the core of what was health insurance products always been covering the medical expenses incurred in a hospital or nursing home under the written advice of a doctor or a medical practitioner. That is the basic thing, which is there in every policies, every coverages, every assurances given by any insurance company, whether it is public sector or it is private players. But the thing is the variety. There had been varieties in sum insured, that is limits of liability. There had been varieties in the expenses covered under this policy, whether it is medical expenses. Say there had been variety in the expenses on the package charges. Some of the policies had been, say, for example, nowadays we do have a policy starting from 1 lakh to 1 crore. So you can understand a policy offering 1 lakh. Of course, it is priced accordingly, having a particular target group in focus. And we have a different bouquet of products ranging in a different multiple of lakhs up to 1 crore. So a policy, covering 1 crore as a sum insured, obviously you can understand so many things are different, so many coverages are being added to that. For example, I can tell you that once upon a time, we had been covering only ambulance charges. But now air ambulance is also covered under the health insurance policies. Why I intend to mean all these things, we have to see that the gradual changes in the dynamics of the insurance market, in the dynamics of the needs of the general persons or the public to have health insurance coverage. As a matter of fact, I said, being a coexistence with this roti kapra. Friends, if we talk about the health insurance, as of now, if we consider the figure 2020, this financial year, only 3% of the total populations are covered under health insurance by this mean or other. I mean, how and what are the coverages? I mean, how the policies are being given? There are basically three areas how the insurance coverages are given. I should say. One is the out of pocket expenses, where an individual person out of his own interest, out of his own sense of security, he is buying directly from any insurance company and health insurance coverage. This is one part. Second part is the employers, those who are offering health insurance coverage. Maybe you are aware of that group health insurance coverage to their employees as a part of the HRM benefits, HRM schemes. And the other part is the government spending. Very recently, if we talk about last 5 years and last 5 to 6, 7 years, if we consider the government spending on health insurance, I say, as well as this health infrastructure, that has been drastically or radically been increased. We are aware of some of the schemes like Rashtriya Swasthya Bima Yojana. You must be aware of that was implemented in the year 2004-2005. That was covering a particular part of the entire populations of every states rather. So it is a government sponsored scheme, and we have Ayushman Bharat in place. As of now, we have Ayushman Bharat, which is being offered by Government of India in collaborations of respective states. The states who have agreed to accept the Ayushman Bharat, and some of the states, they have not accepted Ayushman Bharat, but they have their own scheme, like West Bengal. The West Bengal government has their own scheme, which is called as Swasthya Sathi, whereby the premium is not paid by the individuals. The premium is paid by the government, covering the entire population, say, of a particular block, a particular community, maybe a self-help group, a particular weaker sections of the society, like this. So this is another part. But even then, as of now, we have not considering all the out-of-pocket expenses, then the coverage by these employers, coverage extended by the governments. Still, we are far away of touching that 5% of the total population so we have in our country, as far as health insurance is concerned. But the mechanism, as I said, when we talk about health, when we talk about health insurance, we have to talk about the mechanism. I was talking about the card itself. The mechanism starts with the government mechanism. I mean, central government mechanism, then then state government mechanism, the health service providers like hospitals, nursing homes, daycare centers, whether it is government owned hospitals or private owned hospitals. And then, of course, the health service providers like pathology centers and like centers. And then, of course, this insurance industry, which comes as a stimulant to the health insurance infrastructure in every state. Friends, when we talk about health insurance, the changes.
It's 4:30.
The changes, whatever we have faced during last 3-4 years, is that the out-of-pocket expenses incurred for purchasing health insurance product has massively increased. Nowadays, individual members of the society they are also thinking, giving a second thought to buy health insurance products because they want an assurance, want an coverage against medical expenses may be incurred in a hospital and nursing home. And that has been increased because of the increased trend of the medical expenses in hospital nursing home. Number one. Number two, advancement of the medical technology, whereby so many new and modern equipments have been introduced in hospital nursing homes, so which can detect, which can treat complicated diseases, and the success rate of cure is increasing day by day. We have a modern infrastructure put in place by various hospital nursing homes, where several facilities being provided to the patients as well as the patient parties, etc., etc. So, since the expenses, medical expenses are increasing, so there has to be a support for health insurance coverages. One aspect I should tell you that uh, with the changes of with the changes of the marketing style of the insurance companies, as well as the strategy of the government, and of course with the requirement of the customers, some of the other areas have also been entrusted to extend health insurance coverage to the society. Like say banks, it is not only insurance companies. Now banks are also been entrusted to provide health insurance coverage. Of course, it has been supported by some of the insurance companies. The banks are also in the place to provide health insurance coverages to their account holders also. So debit card holders, they are also covered or supported by health insurance coverages. Account holders of credit cards, they are also being covered under the health insurance coverages. A person who has taken loan or borrowed loan from the bank, and in case of any adverse situation happened to that person, this loan is also protected against health insurance coverages. So this way we are gradually deriving to an area where most of the individual persons, by way of out of pocket expenses or maybe out of the government schemes launched in different ways by different governments like state governments and central governments, and by the organizations, financial organizations, NDFCs, to extend health insurance coverages to general mass in various ways. Now, if we talk about COVID arena, very recently, the government has passed one regulation also that the institutions, the organizations, or the establishments, those who are deploying their workforce, whether it is worker, whether it is organized sector, whether it is unorganized sector, they are to be compulsorily covered against this COVID incident. And of course, most of the insurance companies, they are also offering specific insurance coverages for the COVID. I mean, the quarantine expenses and the related COVID expenses, those who are covered under this policy. The changes you can see, well, that this doctors, this warriors, those who are involved in the COVID, involved in fighting of the COVID, whether it is doctors, it is paramedical staffs, it is non-medical staffs, and this police personnel, etc., etc. They have been offered a huge insurance coverage, that is somewhere 50 lakhs insurance coverage by the central government, and in the state of West Bengal they are offering 10 lakhs of rupees in case of any adverse situation happens with them while fighting this COVID thing. So this way, I mean, this in the changing scenario, every concerns, I mean, whether it is government or whether it is government insurance companies, it is public, private insurance companies, it is hospitals, nursing home, etc., etc. Everybody has come forward to fight this pandemic situations. Hope of we will be able to find out some more products, more policies to exclusively fight against the COVID or this sort of I mean, adverse situations in future also. Because what I intend to mean is, any insurance policy, it is being devised based on the uh, morbidity calculations, based on the data we do gather, we could gather out of some incident happens, out of some occurrence happens. So as far as this COVID is concerned, we have very little data to devise a specific policies, devise a specific coverages. Hospitals, nursing homes, they are also not in a position to exactly address the situations, but we all are fighting to address the situations based on the available data. And government has come up, insurance companies are coming up with the products on temporary basis to provide financial assistance to the general mass, to the persons, those who are directly and indirectly involved in fighting the COVID situations. But I hope in future every insurance company will come forward, and we will be able to place and put some specific products to meet the requirement of the insurance companies. Friends, uh, some of the areas I must tell you, when we talk about health insurance, it is not always this goody goody thing or goody goody experience. So we do have, as far as insurance, health insurance coverages are concerned, health insurance claims are concerned, we do have some challenges also. Challenges like, what are the challenges? The challenges, major challenges, is the standardization. The standardizations, what I intended to mean is standardizations of expenses, because there are two parts. One is the policy part, that is underwriting part. Much of standardizations been done after implementations of the TPA, like the policy wordings have been standardized, forms have been standardized, protocols have been standardized, pricing have been standardized, coverages have been standardized, definitions of different health insurance terms have been standardized and made uniform for all the insurance companies, so that it can be, I mean, easily understood by the consumers. But another party is the claim settlement. There I believe that lot many things are still left to be standardized, especially the expenses part. Though hospitals nowadays have been graded, I mean, there are four grades now: A, B, grade A, grade B, grade C, grade D of the hospitals, based on their infrastructure, based on the facilities, based on the medical equipments they do have, doctor fraternities they do have. There are standardization of hospitals. I mean, like, grade A hospital is this category, grade B, grade C, grade D. But the problem is, some of the areas of where the expenses could not be standardized, like the professional fees, these expenses could not be standardized. And unfortunately, on pan-India basis and in most of the states, we do not have any regulations which basically govern the administrations or the operations of medical establishments, and especially I mean, the charges being decided by the hospitals or nursing home for rendering any medical services. I mean, for example, if we say that a particular operations, say if this is an appendectomy operations, if we go to A hospital, the charges may be 50,000 rupees. If we go to B hospital, the charges is 20,000 rupees. And in some hospitals, maybe in some government hospital, the charges may be very minimal. I mean, the ranges, the variation is huge. And the penetration, the problem here is this, unless we go for a standardizations of the expenses, then the real essence of providing, I mean, the health services and providing the health insurance coverage simultaneously, I mean, covering the liability, giving the assurance, becomes a bit tough, tedious, and the challenges are being faced by our actuaries to devise policies and to price accordingly. And most of the health insurance policies are on social basis. Any insurance company, especially public sector insurance company, this all are on we run it as a social welfare. So if we talk about commerce on that, the commerce is not there. If I'm not wrong to say that there is no commerce in dealing with health insurance products, but as a social gesture, the social responsibility, social liability, we deal with health insurance coverages with the no loss, no profit basis, though it is a losing proposition for us. Anyways, the standardization has to be done. Otherwise, it would be difficult for any insurance company, any providers to ensure a sustainable assurance, sustainable coverage, sustainable services to the persons who will be requiring health insurance as well as requiring this medical attention to any hospital. Friends, another thing is that we know that after 2000 that one autonomy has come to this insurance industry, that is settlement of claim on cashless basis. And we are aware that the cashless basis claim settlement has been outsourced to the TPS, third party administrators. It was not like this insurance companies had not been issuing cashless arrangements. I remember in the year 90s, this cashless facilities were provided to the policyholders, where the insurance companies were having specific tie-up with specific hospitals. In Kolkata, we had been 5-7 hospitals whereby tie-up arrangement was there, and cashless facilities were given through that hospitals if the treatment was taken in that hospitals only. But to spread it in a mass scale, to give the advantage of the cashless facility under the health insurance policy, to give some relief to the policy holders, that they need not to worry about arranging cash when they are dealing with their nearest and dearest person sick and ill, and they are arranging admission to the hospital for their treatment. To spread that thing, to utilize a massive infrastructure on cashless, this thing was outsourced to third-party administrators. So now this cashless arrangements are being done by them, and most of the cashless arrangements are now being automated. I mean, the moment a person is triggering to the hospital, a request is sent to the TPA. TPA gets the documents on a wave, and they can process the request received from the hospitals, and they authorize the hospital for a certain amount to be directly paid by them. It's a commitment by the insurance company that okay, up to certain amount this has been cashless, and the remaining portions may be collected from the patient party at the time of discharge. So this is being done on that the automation has already been done, but a lot many things are also to be done in this also. I mean, like much more automations can be, I'm not going in details of this, much more automations can be done to expedite the claim settlement. So whether it is a cashless settlement or whether it is a reimbursement claim settlement, Reimbursement claim settlement does mean that we pay our medical bill to the hospital, then we get the bill and submit the bill to the TP or the insurance company for reimbursement. This is the process how the reimbursement things are done. So much more automations can be done, and these all are waited in the pipeline so that most of the things can be paperless. I mean, the issuance of the policies are now paperless. Like anyone and everyone can log into the portal of any insurance company from their mobile, from their desktop. They can have their own I mean product brochures. They can compare it, they can select insurance company, they can select a premium, they can select coverage, everything they can select, and they can generate their own policy, and then need not to go to any insurance company or the office or the intermediaries, etc., etc. Now this all are being autonomous. And some of the web aggregators like Policy Bazaar and some of them are of course in place. Those who are dealing fantastically well uh, uh, to have autonomy as far as health underwriting is concerned, health policies are concerned. But a lot many things are in pipeline as far as claims are concerned. So many things should be autonomous, and when things would be put on in place, I think the settlement of the claims would be cashless. For cashless and paperless. For informations, I must say you that when we talk about government projects like RSPY, then Shastro Shati, and presently this Ayushman Bharat insurance coverage, believe me, this is entirely a cashless process and paperless process. That is starting from the enrollment of the member in the scheme and this taking admission in the hospital, accepting the medical papers. These all are, of course, in put in record. These all are in plain papers. But apart from that, this enrollment of the coverage, the settlement of the claim, the payment of the claim to the hospital, to the beneficiary, to the individuals, everything's are automated. No paper. This is entirely, I mean, paperless operations. And we hope that not only for the government schemes, proposals, or policies, this when we talk about retail, I mean, this out of pocket expenses, retail policies. Hope very recently, very soon, every insurance companies will come with their cashless as well as cardless, paperless arrangements, which will help in turn our society for this thing, for handling this health insurance coverage and handling this. I mean, to avail this that health infrastructures in a better way. Friends, if you have any query so far, so we can accept it. I mean, for some queries we can accept it. If anybody wish to give some input on whatever we have discussed, if anybody wish to.
So there is a query in the chat box that any insurance on the basis of studentship or academic level. So Sandeep Kumar is asking this question: any insurance on the basis of studentship or academic level?
Right.
So this is the question.
So very good, of course, pertinent questions, as pertinent as the topic we have today. See, insurance coverages are being offered to a person either who can pay the premium, I mean, above the age of 18 years, and who is capable of paying the premium. Else, a person who is a dependent to the earning member of the family. And as far as students are concerned, we do have, as far as my company is concerned, we do have one specific policy which is called a student safety policy. And student safety policy can be given to the institution, I mean the educational institutions, covering the entire strength of the student or a group of the students, uh, 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 covering for the health insurance coverage. Apart from that, some tailor-made type of group insurance coverage can also be given to the educational institutions, covering the students as well as other staff members of the institutions. For example, if I be very sure and sanguine of that Vishwa Bharati University, we are aware in Santiniketan, West Bengal, they do have one health insurance coverages covering all their students. I mean, right from that KG. I mean, they start from KG and then class one to this research scholars. And of course, I am dealing with this policy, so it can be done. There is no issue with it. Anybody else? Anybody?
Sir, I have a question that is there anything, any special policy in terms of the elderly population, especially after the 60 years of age? I mean, those who are not able to pay the premium for the retired population?
Let's see. We have got a segregations like up to senior citizen level. There is a segregations, and to be very specific, that you are talking about the health insurance coverages for the senior citizens.
Yeah.
Right. Every insurance company has got their different schemes, as I said, because bouquets are different for different insurance companies. Somebody will say that it's a senior citizen health insurance policy. Somebody will name it as Varishtha Bima Yojana, etc., etc. But every insurance company has got specific insurance coverages specifically designed to cover the elderly, that is to the senior citizens. And of course, that premium has to be paid. I mean, has to be paid by them, and the proposer has to pay the premium. Whether he or she is a retired member, whether she is having some gainful or some investment income, whatever, he or she has to be paid. I mean, the proposer has to pay the premium, and insurance coverage for all the senior citizens that is there, that is being offered by every insurance companies in different forms. Any questions?
Professor Shubhabrata Bhattacharya, Shubhabrata, you can make this comment, just unmute yourself and ask this question if you have any. Shubhabrata, can I ask this question or make this comment on behalf of you, or you will unmute yourself? So what he is saying here, that we the customers facing harassment when submit claim, the TPS are trying to slash the claim to minimum. This is frustrating.
Fine. See, the problem is what I intend to tell you. What I intend to tell you that this limits of liabilities are now being different for different sort of policies. I mean, now what I was telling in the beginning that in 1986 when we started, there had been only single policy, and the single policy, I mean, that was common for all insurance companies. Now we have 28 insurance companies in Indian market, operating in an Indian market, including the 4 public sector insurance companies, and rest of the insurance companies are private companies. And there are some of the insurance companies, those who are specialized on the health insurance coverage. I mean, they are dealing with only health insurance coverage. Every insurance companies are having their different products. And now, as I said, the products are ranging from 1 lakh to 1 crore. And the premium also dependent on the sum insured, as well as the coverages and the facilities and the commitment of the liabilities are concerned. Now, when we take a policy, we have to be very sure and sanguine, well advanced, that what policy exactly I'm taking, and what are the coverages being exactly provided by the policy. What are the clauses, sub clauses? Of course, we will listen to the consultant, etc., etc. But we have to be very sure and sanguine about what exactly the product I'm buying. Like whenever we go and buy some product from the hyper mall, then we take the product, we see the brand, we see the expiry date, we see the composition, etc., etc., and then we decide and then we buy. But when, as far as health insurance policies, not only health insurance policies, any insurance coverage, I have seen my own experience, personal experience is that we go by face. Either we trust somebody and we do not even go through the prospectus. As I said, now with the that introductions of the IRDA, things have been standardized. And IRDA is a very, I mean, particular, and they are the enforcing agency who has enforced the standardizations of products, standardization of terms, and the prospectus are very clearly written nowadays. We do not see the prospectus. We do not even go through the prospectus. Even my experience is when we receive a policy, we do not even see the name and spelling, whatever written in the policy, or even age in the policy, mentioned in the policy. The basic criteria, I mean, the premium is calculated on age. And the medical treatments and medicines procedures are also again applied based on the age as well as the physical condition of the patient. But what happens is at the time of claim, we understand that my age was somewhere 53, but my policy is showing it is 48 or somewhere 58 or something like that. So my request is that it is not, I must say that it is not true that TPAs are reducing the claim amount, or hospitals are not basically giving us the eligible amount what we are eligible to get from this insurance coverage, or the insurance companies intervening to reduce their own costs. It is not like that. The thing is, we take the policy with some apprehension, but we understand the gamut of the thing when we actually utilize the product. But the thing is, let us be aware of the fact that let us not be vigilant while we use the product. Let us be vigilant when we buy the product. I mean, whether we renew the policy, there are a lot many options to migrate, to shift. Even IRDA has come up with one, that the Policyholders Protection Act 2001, that has been put in place. There is a provisions that we can port, I mean, anyone can port their health insurance coverage from one insurance company to another insurance company. The way it is being put in place for the mobile operators. I mean, we are now smart enough. We are having not only one, I mean, two smartphones. Everybody having two SIM cards in each mobile phone, and most of the time we do not, I mean, get connections in, and keep on switching the gamut of the thing is the number remains same, and the provider changes. I mean, we have the option to select our provider. In health insurance also, the thing has come. It is called portability of health insurance policy, where in every renewal we can change our insurer. And of course, there are provisions for migrations of the products from one product to another product. Say I use some product and I find that there is some difficulties, or this is not of my choice, or this is not fulfilling my medical requirements or my other requirements, my expectations. And obviously at the time of renewal, we can go for migrate to any other policy of our choice. So let us be aware of, my point, bone of contention is, the point is, let us choose the perfect product which suits our requirement, our medical needs, need of our family. I mean, family members, when we talk about a family insurance. Next. Anybody?
Yeah, so there is another question that how is a normal health insurance different from a critical insurance?
See, critical health insurance, what we term it as critical illness policy. So currently, as far as this IMR is concerned, they have termed 12 critical ailments, 12 ailments which are basically recurrent in nature, and requires huge medical expenses on a continuous basis. These 12 medical ailments or procedures which are termed as critical illness. For example, I tell you, say if it is carcinoma, then if it is that a nephrological issue, I mean that the patient is on dialysis. Critical illness may be that CABG operations, etc. So, I mean cardiovascular disease. There are 12 specific cases. The difference is all the critical illnesses are covered under any and every health insurance coverages, whether it is on individual level, whether it is on corporate level, that is employer employee, and whether it is provided by the governments this way or other. These critical illnesses are covered. Like carcinoma, somebody has detected and treating carcinoma, this is well covered under all the policies. But critical illness policies provides two specific things. One is for that particular ailment, out of the list of 12 diseases, if someone is contracted that disease, a different SI, sum insured or liability being assured to the client. I mean to the person as medical expenses. And another part it may be, say a policy is like whenever somebody is detected as carcinoma, stage 4 or stage 3, he would be or she would be paid as 5 lakh of rupees as assured. So you get 5 lakhs out of that critical illness policy. You may get medical expenses from that critical illness policy if it is so covered. Else you can have reimbursed or the medical expenses from your regular policy. This is the basic difference under regular policy as well as a critical illness policy. Hope it is clear to you.
So any other question from anyone? So there is another question that I have say if someone is under a third party Mediclaim policy along with WBHS, could he or she apply for both on a single claim, being the claim amount is a lump sum?
Third party mediclaim policy, I really don't know what you intend to make, but I understand that somebody is covered under WBHS by their employer, West Bengal Health Scheme, and the same person is having his or her individual mediclaim policy. I believe this is the query, and if I mean what happens when there is a claim for lump sum amount comes, right? I believe that is the query. The answer is you can first claim the portion which is admissible to WBHS, and the remaining part you can again claim from the individual policy you do have. In that case, one complication is there, that is sharing of the documents. It is a process. You are to adhere to the process of sharing the medical documents as well as bills and receipts. As because, say, for example, I tell you, if someone is covered under WBHS for 2 lakhs of rupees and having an individual mediclaim policy for rupees 5 lakh, and the claim amount is somehow say 8 lakhs, how the claim would be paid? Because that hospital bill or final bill may be of 8 lakhs of rupees. So there is a process. You are to know the process from the respective department itself. But it is possible that a part of the claim is paid under a single policy, and the remaining part, bona fide claim, may be settled under a separate policy, if otherwise admissible.
Any other question? So I think there is no other question.
So friends, I believe time is up. It was from 4 to 5. So we can sign off today, doctor. We can sign off today, I believe.
No, so just a few minutes more.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
Please tell me what you want me to.
so, first, this is coming to the vote of thanks part. First, I'd like to thank our honorable speaker, Mr. Dhiman Pal, who, despite his busy schedule, has found time to grace this occasion. We are really grateful to him. And I extend my thanks to our principal sir, who initiated the entire process, right from suggesting the topic to giving his all possible support and encouragement. I owe my heartiest gratitude to all distinguished IQAC members, without whose continuous support this program would not have been successful at all. My heartfelt thanks to all my colleagues and friends present over here. Finally, on behalf of the Damdam Motichil Rabindra Mahavidyalaya, I would like to express my appreciation to all the participants for taking time out of their busy duties to attend this seminar. Thank you for your attention. Thank you all. In the next part, I have to make two announcements. First, for the participants, a feedback link is sent in the chat box and will also be sent to your mail IDs. Please fill it up and submit it within 8 p.m. tonight. This is necessary for generating e-certificate. And second, we are happy to inform all of you that we are organizing another webinar on 12th of this month on malignancy symptoms and treatment in post-COVID-19 era. Dr. Shoikot Gupta, Director Oncosurgery, Apollo Clinicals Hospital, Kolkata, has given his kind consent to speak in this webinar. We cordially invite all of you in that webinar. Your presence will encourage us in every possible manner. So thanks once again for being with us. Thank you, Mr. Pal. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you everyone for giving me the opportunity and of course for your kind cooperations and that patient listening to me. Thanks a lot. All the very best and keep well, stay well. And of course, that maintain on the social distancing and wear the mask, though I am not because I'm just sitting on my cabin. So nobody is there. So I am not, but keep that and maintain whatever the guidelines being issued time to time as far as this COVID is concerned, and take care of your health, take care of health of your family members. All the very best to all of you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Shatilekha, please end this meeting. Sir, can we end this meeting?
Please, sure.